She'll do it. She'll do it. What up? Obviously, if you watch this channel, me talking about Voodoo Ride as a car care product is kind of ironic because let's be honest, I don't even wash my cars that run, let alone my cars that don't. That's right, I just admitted that this is mine. But let's talk about a little pro tip here, right? If you've got cars that don't run and they look like this, just keep the glass clean and then people think they run. It's streak free, no residue. Most importantly, it doesn't have ammonia in it like the stuff that you find under your kitchen sink because that stuff will ruin your tints from one Carcane addict to another. Oh, there we go. I will admit, I still enjoy the old school newspaper trick. Newspaper's really nice on glass, but who the hell reads newspapers anymore? See, this is all about psychology, right? It's all about the kind of person who'd have a car like this, but worries so much about cleaning the glass. Throws them off, makes them think, this person's normal. They might be a part of society. They might not be hoarding 13 or 14 cars that don't run and keep making up excuses on the internet as to why. By the way, don't stop at just the glass. Hit the mirrors too. And voila, you just turned your hoarding into a collection. Thank Voodoo Ride for this little tip, but also thank them for keeping, the content that you watch on this channel not behind a paywall like some others. Brands like this keep this channel going. So support them, go find their stuff at Amazon. It's great. It made this piece of crap look less crappier.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Build Biology. We're back with the Tim.
Howdy.
And in case you guys missed the last episode, can you fill us in on what you guys did?
We went to Stefan Papadakis' shop. He built a insane 2020 Supra, went bananas. I'm still kind of buzzing from that thing.
Nice. Today, I've brought you something that's more suited in my line of stuff here. It's basically a square body flatbed work truck that's sort of from the 70s, sort of from the 80s, but it's on top of a race car chassis.
So you brought me a work truck, that's a race car. Truck.
Yeah, like a utilitarian race car.
Oh, I can't wait to see this. Glenn, tell me what is going on here? I'm looking at a lot of different cues from the square body.
Well, the truck's definitely a mutt. When I say that, we got a 73 cab, doors, 81 front clip and hood, 82 core support, grill. Just because I had an 81 when I was younger in the 90s,
Yep.
And I just love the look of the front, the square front instead of, the bulge out.
I'm used to seeing drip rails, right?
Right, and that was an option.
Yeah, was that an option? All right,
was.
and then the other thing is that you can haul drywall with this thing. So what? Tell me about why we went with a flatbed.
This is my dad. My dad had all his C10s were flatbeds.
So it seems like a little bit of a throwback to your childhood as well.
It was a little throwback to my dad.
Yeah.
And I use it for work. I haul steel up on the rack. As you can tell, I was pretty scratched and stuff.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a fabricator. I own B&G Fabrications.
So you did this whole thing?
Yeah, this whole truck.
I'm looking at a serious 4-link, and then you dig a little deeper. Then I see a chassis that never came on this truck. Then I see a full floating quick change winner's rear end.
So my background's always been in stock car racing.
Yep.
I did that for over 20 years. Street stocks, super stocks, late models, some off-road racing. One of the things that, my classes I ran in never allowed me to run was a quick change. So first thing I wanted was a quick change in this truck. So it's a 5-link based off a 4-link.
I'm used to seeing 4 links. Why the 5th? What does that do? And why on this truck do you need a 5-link?
The bird cages on the rear end are bearings, they're floaters. So the rear end actually floats in it. So you attach your coil over to it and your links, and it floats on a bearing. So everything kind of just floats in there.
Wow.
That's why you need the 5th link.
The 5th link to keep it from wrapping, right?
Well, It's on bushings, so that's kind of what helps you get that traction.
Okay.
You know, it's adjustable traction basically.
So is that where the J-bar comes in play?
Yeah,
Is that, okay, that's like a throwback to your dirt tracking?
So yeah, the
I see that.
J-bar is a dirt track
right there.
thing.
I see. And what does a J-bar typically do? Like,
Oh, when the chassis rolls over, that's what helps plant.
so I'm
plant the axle
I'm
to
on
the
throttle. I come off throttle. The thing straightens out. I turn in and then get back on throttle. Does it? And the typical dirt track will start to roll, right?
Yeah, the chassis will roll over,
And
you
then-
start driving off the left rear, but the J-bar helps keep that rear end planted on the ground.
I see. The rear suspension looks pretty dialed. Can we have a look at what you got going up front? Wow, look at this. This does not look like the typical square body that I'm used to looking at. Do you start conceptualizing, like say, I'm gonna build essentially the chassis that this body will sit on, or did you start saying that this is the front end that I wanna use, this is the rear end I wanna use, and then you connect the dots? How did you go about
Pretty
that?
much. I started with the frame rails, laid those out, positioned the body, and then pulled it back off and started figuring out the placement of the geometry for the front, because it's 78 Camaro geometry.
And that's what you're typically used to racing, right?
Right. So, you know, a lot of the things I raced over the years were all like, they're all Camaro front clip stuff.
Right.
So, you know, I know this suspension from the back of my hand. It was like easy to build real fast, and I know what it handles like, and I know where to get the parts. And like I said, it drives like a car.
The other thing I noticed is the steering box is on the inside of the frame rail right there.
Right, just like a Camaro.
Right. And then as far as when you're talking about geometry, like bump steer and camber correction over travel and kinematics, I know you probably know how to set this up, like you said, like the back of your hand, but explain to me real quick, what am I looking at with that steering link there and all that?
Basically with Camaro geometry, I mean, they had really good caster gain, everything just
Over
kind of.
compression?
It felt real good. I built the lower control arms.
Nice.
The upper control arms, those are IMCA modified, or you know, you run them on asphalt late model, so they're totally adjustable. The mounts are the same that we use in stock cars, so we could adjust.
It looks like anti-dive, anti-squat.
Right, the anti-dive.
Yeah.
I use a Howe center link, Howe Racing center link,
Nice.
and Pitman arm to correct the bump steer. Everything's on Heim joints out to the spindles. I'm using a sweet 10-to-1 box. Just
You
to
got
give
it
that
real quick.
Yeah, so it handles real nice.
How much does the truck weigh?
32, 36.
Wow, that's a lot lighter than I thought. About how much power is it making?
The engine's putting out 565 horse.
I'm trying to see what this thing would go up against, and I think it can do some damage. You'd hurt some feelings in like the pro touring circuit.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of like, I wanted to go fast, but I still wanted to turn left and right.
Yeah, yeah. I want to talk about the engine. The thing that I noticed first and foremost, it's not an LS. Nothing wrong with LS swaps and all that stuff, but everything has an LS. I like seeing those middle primaries right next to each other, like a traditional
Right.
350 or small block. You have a 383 stroker in here.
Yep. It's all fully roller.
Yeah, I see. Like your cylinder one is actually like right at the center line of your axle. That's pretty cool.
Well, that's
So all the weight is behind the center
it's
line.
pushed it's pushed as far back as it can, but that's typical stock car racing, because
Yeah.
you're not supposed to move your number one spark plug past the ball joint on the driver's side.
That's awesome. Yeah, but you didn't really need to do that.
I mean, but I shoved it as far back as I could for a truck, and it's right there. It's low, so you know, down the road, if I wanted to switch it to say shockwave airbags,
Right.
I could drop it all the way to the ground, and I still miss, you know, the oil pan and tranny pan by 1/4 of an inch.
So you can hit
Which-
the frame on the ground and you're not taking an oil
you drop
pan
the
out.
frame, which you can't do with an LS because they hang like 3 to 4 inches below the transmission
Right.
pan. So a standard small block, it's almost pretty even. So
I see a big old
you could
Moroso pan.
drop it so much farther down.
Yeah.
It has options. I built a lot of options into it. It was put, like I said, like it has the roll cage mounts already ready to go, utilizing part of it for my steering pump
Yep, I like that.
reservoir.
You have the couplers already welded in the frame, but you would tie it into here, punch it through here, and I see the dash, you already have a hole that's like perfectly gone down through your A-pillar bar.
Right.
And then when I look underneath it, I saw the coupler under there as well, down in the floor.
Right, so it's set up for a full roll cage.
Nice. I see your steering box here on the inside of the rail, which I'm typically used to seeing them out here.
For a truck, yeah.
Yep. I'm seeing how tight you had to package that and then turn that corner.
Wow.
I don't recognize that U-joint right there.
You don't? Can't even make a guess?
It kind of looks like an air-cooled Porsche steering rack coupler. That's if I had to put $10 on it, I would say it's something German.
That's actually out of an Easy-Go golf cart.
What?
Yeah.
That's a golf cart steering knuckle, or steering U-joint there?
Yep. Well, you see how much clearance it has.
I'm glad I didn't bet. That's the only thing I have in my pocket right now. What kind of steering column's in here?
That would also be an Easy-Go golf cart.
You have a golf cart steering column in this
I
thing.
do. The cool thing about it is it's tilt, turn signals, hazard, and there's no key.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense.
Right.
So is it all switch and button and all that?
All switching buttons. Just kind of like a real race car.
Yeah, no,
You
that's
know,
awesome.
All the gauges,
I-
all the buttons, all the switches.
I love all of your little tiny nuances that are a complete homage to how you grew up in the race car world, and I see it everywhere. I see the catch tanks, I see your couplers, I see the steering box, I see the suspension, even down to the wheels, the lugs, you know.
1 5/8 wheel lugs.
Yep.
1-inch lug nuts.
I want to look at the inside of this thing now.
Tell me what you think.
Oh, this is awesome. I love it. I feel like I'm in a race car truck. I see an automatic shifter and no third pedal.
Yeah, it's automatic. It's a 700R.
Yeah.
I wanted the overdrive because I still drive it.
Yeah.
Even though I'm still only getting about 6 miles to the gallon.
6?
About 6. It's had all the work done to it. Mark at C10 Transmissions built me a really good tranny. And he's built all my trannies over the years for all my race cars.
Every gauge you could think of that you need really in a carbureted truck, right?
Yeah, in a carbureted truck, pretty much.
Nice.
All the way down to the GPS speedometer because it's a quick change. So I want to know how fast I'm going.
Yeah, because every time you change the ratio, yeah.
So I always got real-time speed.
That's awesome. Do you run a tall gear for freeway stuff?
Well, yeah, I'm running 319s is about the tallest I can get for the Healy cut gears because these are Healy cut, so I don't have to hear the whining all the time.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if I can go down the straight cut ones, I could put,
It's infinite, basically, almost.
210s in there.
Yeah.
But I think we'd be like lugging a lot.
Every time the straight cut gears, every time you load and unload in the lash, they get loud, don't they?
Right, and then
Yeah.
the winding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a sound
system.
system in here.
Well, of course.
Are those 10s?
Those
12s?
are 12s.
Yeah, he's got 12s in his race truck.
Of course.
How does it drive? Is it nervous? Is it a driver's truck? What is it?
Dude, like I said, it drives like a car. It drives pretty, like no bump steer, just smooth. You could let go of the wheel going down the freeway. Let go of the wheel going down the road, just
Tracks.
nice and straight.
That's awesome.
How those seats feel pretty comfy.
The seats are really comfortable. Everything's. I want to road trip this truck. All right, let's get on the lift, and I want to hear it too. So fire it up.
Oh, you don't want to push it, huh?
Yeah. All right, we got this thing racked up. I see a lot of goodies that can do a lot of damage on here. This is pretty cool. I see bushings now. If you wanted more wheel spin, would you, if you wanted looser?
If I wanted to break the tires loose, I would get rid of that and put a solid bar in there.
All right.
And it would hop up pretty good, and then it would just break the tires loose all the time. But right now, the way it's set up, it just gets instant bite.
Just gets down and gets out.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice. So you kind of thought about everything when you built it, and then you can incorporate it later if you wanted.
I got several different options with this thing. Road racing, drag racing, airbag it and cruise it, because I could change out mounts on these coilovers.
Right, I see that.
Switch them to kind of whatever I want.
So this is the pitman arm right here, right? And then this is the steering arm. And am I correct?
Pitman arm.
Pitman arm.
And idler arm.
Idler and pitman.
They don't have those on Porsches, huh?
No, we don't have those. So that's why I'm at school right now. And then I guess what this does is you have equal length tie rods on both sides that are really close to.
Right.
If I were to draw a line from
from this control arm, from the back side of the control arm to right here, that's a straight line. So you almost have zero deflection under
That's
compression.
why those Camaros were so great with their geometry. You know the cool thing about it though too is when you say Camaro, it's cheaper than when you say C10 when you go to buy the parts.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
You must have, this looks, either you fabbed this or...
Yeah, I built the lower control arms using Howe ball joints, Western Camaro drop spindles, power stop brakes is, that's what we were using on our circle track cars. I basically built in as much adjustment as I could into this thing because that's the one thing I like to do is I like to have options. I like to be able to adjust something. I don't like to go to a track somewhere and be like, oh man, you could be this much faster only if you can move this arm up or slide this over, do this. Well, I don't want to be able to do it all.
It looks like you thought of it.
And get more bite. I could drop down to the second hole, move up. I could keep it up there, move it down to get less bite.
Fully infinitely adjustable J-bar.
Right.
Are we allowed to do a burnout in here? Can we see if this thing would light them up? Are we?
I'll do whatever you let me do.
All right, let's pretend I'm the boss. Yeah, she'll do it. She'll do it.
You like that?
Badass.
That thing sounds good.
Yes.
So what'd you think?
You undersold that truck so much. That's not really a truck, not a work truck. That's a race car with some fancy decking on the back.
Come on, man. It's got a flatbed. You can actually do things with it.
It is such a sleeper, and the guy, when you're talking to him, that thing is engineered. It's like a circle track chassis with this beautiful, reminds me of my childhood C10 cab on it.
Mm-hmm. So he does what he does best, except he just did it in a work truck.
I love it.
Hell yeah. So there you have it. As we've learned today, a race car can haul drywall. Hope you enjoyed yourself. We'll see you next week for some more cool stuff.
All right, see ya.
But the seats are another questionable, what are they out of?
Yeah, what are they out of? Let me guess.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay,
Tough one.
I'm gonna say Evo, like a Mitsubishi Evo.
Not even close.
Ford Focus RS. All right, I'm
close.
just guessing now.
You're close with the R. They're Polaris Razor seats.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Comfy as hell, aren't they?
He's resourceful.
I am.